My name is Susan Decker, and I am a granddaughter of Bobby Aanstad, who survived the Eastland Disaster of July 24th, 1915. She was with her family, her mother, her younger sister, and their uncle, who was the employee at Western Electric. It was just a few days shy of our grandmother's 14th birthday. When they boarded the ship, our great-grandmother had said she didn't like the feel of the ship. She thought there were too many people on board, but they proceeded to board nonetheless. And when the ship rolled over, they were caught between decks. Fortunately, the water did not rise above them, and they were able to tread water, hold on to debris until they were rescued through a porthole. We're not sure how long they were trapped in the ship, but thankfully they were all saved, and our family survived, all intact, as so many families did not.
I'm Barbara Decker Wachholz, and I am Susan's sister, also Bobby's other granddaughter. And I just remember her telling us stories when we were little about when she was on this big ship and how it rolled over in the river, and how she had to tread water, and how, they were trapped for many, many, many hours. And through the years, as we were growing up, she always said, it's very important that you girls know how to swim, because you remember I was in that horrible boat accident and I had to tread water. And she said it's very important. So when we were young kids, we would go up to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, Williams Bay, Wisconsin, actually. And she'd be in the water with us. She never lost her love for water. She loved going to the beach when she was a young girl, and we've got beautiful pictures of her on the beach with her friends. These were taken a few years after the Eastland disaster. So many people were so traumatized by it, and it was a horrible, horrible experience for her and what she saw. But it never diminished her love for the water, and she just absolutely was a vibrant person. She was a vibrant young girl, and she was the same way until she died when she was 90. But, Sue and I have always said that if she hadn't survived, we would not be here right now. Our son and daughter would not be here right now. And it's really pretty amazing to think about that. But she was a wonderful, wonderful grandma, and so blessed that she survived.
In later years, she was interviewed by one of our local newspapers, the Daily Herald, and she had all of these newspaper articles spread out on the table. She was interviewed by Janet Davies, and up until that point, we didn't really know what she saw during that experience, because when we were younger, she spared us those details. But during this interview, and I'm not sure when it was,
It was in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. And she was a lot more graphic with her description of what she had seen as a young girl. And we were kind of taken aback because we had no idea the sights that she saw, bodies floating past her face down. She talked about one man whose head was gashed open. And I remember her saying, that was not a very pleasant sight, and she's 13 years old at the time. So we learned a little later in life some of those details. We wish now, in looking back, that we had asked more as adults, a little more detailed questions of her. But I guess we weren't as focused on that then as we have become now in the past 25 years. So we have a little regret about that, but, we learned through some of her interviews that helped us to understand that much more what she witnessed. And, of course, through all the families we've met as well, the stories of their families and, a lot of unpleasantness and a lot to be thankful for as well for those who did survive. We're appreciative to learn that because it kind of helped to round out the story a little bit. Mm-hmm. Her younger sister was 9 at the time. So I don't know what kind of a memory she has of that. We know that she didn't really share much with her side of the family as our Nana did for us or with us. And they had, different personalities. Nana was, outgoing and vivacious, never feared the water. And her younger sister Solveig was very shy and quiet and reserved. And again, Barb and I, while we're the same, we have different personalities as well. So that could have just been the way it was, two sisters, two different, paths personality wise. Or we don't know if she was perhaps traumatized. I had heard, or we had heard, that she might possibly have been separated from the family and all the panic of just pulling people up and rescuing and just, shuffling them off the boat as fast as they could. And I've always thought that maybe that traumatized her a little, being separated from her family as a young girl. But we know that she never went in the water. She was not a swimmer. So again, could it have been that experience? I wouldn't doubt it. That had to be very difficult for a young one.